Welcome back to the Like Us Pod. I'm your host, Erin. Through these bonus episode play-by-plays of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, we are keeping track of which Real Housewife of Beverly Hills is the most relatable by keeping it fun and having a scorecard at the end of each episode. When we get to the reunion, we will find out who is the most relatable housewife. But until then, let's get into the episode. So we continue this string of what I'm going to call some of the most uncomfortable Real Housewives of Beverly Hills episodes I have ever seen, or at least I've seen in a really long time, because obviously the Taylor and Russell storyline early in the show's history, even the Kyle and Kim sister storyline where Kyle outed Kim as an alcoholic, still uncomfy. But wow. Where we are right now, last week I called it the dark night of the soul. I still feel like this Italy trip, which was meant to be where all of the drama of the season was going to stir up, and as Andy Cohen said, would go off the rails. And while I do think that's what we're seeing, it's not enjoyable. There's something that's happening right now in Beverly Hills where even though there is drama on screen, and that is usually what we want, I think it's not paired with enough levity. It's not paired with enough antics. Even something as silly as them going grape stomping turned into Amanda talking about her business and talking about bows, and everything feels so deeply mean-spirited. And listen, the Housewives it's not a kumbaya type of show. Okay, like we're not sitting around singing kumbaya, but there's something to be said about there being some fun. And we're going to get into that more. Like, I don't even mean to jump into the episode because we still need to do the hot mic confessional. But like, just right off the bat, strong thoughts about what we're seeing in Italy right now for this Real Housewives cast trip, which is beautiful, but it's not necessarily fun. It's too much. Okay, so for this week's Hot Mic Confessional, I must confess that I started watching Summer House after a lot of people requesting it, telling me that it's the show I need to get into, that I need to be talking about it, that I need to know what's going on with Summer House. And I have to admit, I was really reluctant. And now that I'm into it, oh my gosh, all of the drama. So first of all, it's Kyle and Amanda, a different Kyle and Amanda, but there's Kyle and Amanda and their divorce. And it doesn't seem like they ever should have been together. So I have been watching all of the latest season, and then I started talking about that, and people started telling me I needed to go back to at least season 5. And so I'm also watching season 5. I watched the first episode or two of season 5. And Kyle and Amanda are a mess. They never seemed right for each other. And I saw a lot of people leave comments that they were like, oh, Amanda's always been really insecure. Amanda's always been really insecure. And I clocked that really quickly. To me, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this because it feels like she has a lot of fans, but like it makes her hard to root for as a character. Now, I might need to do more research. I need to maybe get into the archives and watch the early seasons and really like understand the full lore. But from what I'm seeing so far, Kyle and Amanda suck together. And I also don't know what the redeeming qualities about either one of them are. So I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do. Lindsay Hubbard, I like what she's got going on. She's hilarious. In the season 5, she seems mean. In the current season, she seems funny. Sierra, I have liked Sierra since The Traitors. In season 10, she's a gem. She brings such a groundedness to the show. Season 5, they are treating her like she's a little jump off, and I don't appreciate that. Now, the new drama is West, Sierra, and Amanda are apparently in some form of love triangle. And if my instinct about I've only been watching this show, by the way, you guys, these are 2-week-old instincts. I think I started watching Summer House 2 weeks ago. So I'm new. I'm new. But my gut instinct is that there's something awry with Amanda. And so if this new gossip that there is something up with Amanda, Sierra, West, and Amanda dating her friend, who they seem quite chummy together, her friend's ex, yikes. This isn't a Summer House recap podcast, but I am just going to say, I'm keeping an eye on it. My eyes and ears are open. I'm looking and I'm picking up clues and forming my opinions. And as those opinions form, I'll keep sharing them. Now, let's get back into Beverly Hills. So the episode starts, and even though Amanda drives me crazy, I got to give credit where credit's due. She's wearing a really cute pair of pajamas. And you know when you go on vacation and you know that you're going to stay somewhere lovely, and so you have to bring a cute pair of pajamas with you? Because is that just me? Like, I feel like when I'm traveling, I don't want to just wear like an old softball t-shirt and some shorts to bed. I want to wear my pajamas that are almost an outfit in and of itself, especially when you're like sharing a house with people or anything like that. Like you do want to have a cute pair of PJs, and Amanda nailed it. Loved those pajamas. They were like white, open in the back. They honestly, if she doesn't need to be in her influencer bag because she is the money coach, but she's the real money coach trying to get more money. If she would drop an affiliate link for those pajamas, I'm going to find them and then I will make my own affiliate link for her pajamas. Let's all get them and we can have a pajama party together. In the morning, Sutton and Amanda, they're having a morning bed chat, and Sutton tells Amanda about the ChatGPT search via Erika. And in hindsight, watching that scene over again and then hearing Sutton talk about it and being like, what is it? Chat what? Chat what? I'm like, I don't want to call anybody old, but like that is some old lady behavior. Because first of all, why are you looking people up on ChatGPT? Like, let's be all the way for real about that. Like, why is, like, if Amanda, again, I said this last week, but, like, she really should just learn how to read really quick. Because I think it's, like, less of a problem that they're, like, trying to go digging in her life. Although, yes, that's annoying. But, like, she should be like, you guys are old. Who uses ChatGPT for that? That's what I want to hear. I want to hear her doing digs in that way. Because it is some old lady behavior. Why aren't you just on Google and, like, reading like, who... I just didn't like it. I also didn't like that, like, Bose was getting more flack for the ChatGPT of it all. And then I understood that, like, Bose did search herself on ChatGPT to, like, pat herself on the back for being legitimate. But we need to remember that it was Erika. It was Erika who pulled up the ChatGPT and started asking about Amanda. Bose did not do that. She just got dragged into it. And that's why, that's why the grandmas say, if you mess with dirt, it'll get in your eyes. And I'm not saying Erika's dirt. I'm just saying that when people are playing dirty and you lay with pigs, you know what I mean? Bose, I know that you are a black mama, but you needed to get black mama in that moment because you got dragged into the mess, my girl. You should have just kept quiet and minded your business because now you have more beef with Amanda than you needed to have. And now she's reading your chat GPT to the camera, to all of us. You know what I mean? Like that could have been avoided if you would have sat in that car. You didn't have to agree with Sutton because Sutton's up to something. She's being manipulative and Sutton's up to something. You didn't have to go that far. But you could have just been like, oh my God, Erika, and laughed it off. But you got in the mud. You got in the mud. They got you, girl. They got you. You got to play smarter than that. You got to play better politics than that. But also, I don't understand why Bose is taking the fall. We then see Kyle, Erika, and Kathy, and they're all sitting at a table. And Kyle is coming across. I love Kyle Richards when she's like doing the splits and twirling her hair. But even in this table discussion where she's arguably with two of the closest people in the whole cast to her in this moment, it's her sister, her literal sister, her big sister, and Erika, okay? She already this is her core group. This is core Team Kyle. And at the core Team Kyle meeting, she still is coming across as like exceptionally bratty. And it's making me a little uncomfortable. Like, there's even a moment where Kathy tries to play devil's advocate. And by the way, I hate when people play devil's advocate. The devil does not need an advocate. So, like, I get why Kyle's like, Kathy, be my sister, be on my side. But, like, even the way she talks to Kathy, I clutched my pearl. She said, Kathy, I am your sister. And you're like, oh, what is going on? It was like I think Kyle has been taken over by a strange form of stress, anger. Something's going on with Kyle. And I think maybe she needs to take a break. And I hate to tell the housewives to like not be in their bag, not get their, like, I'm never trying to get someone out of a job, like truly. But Kyle does have enough money. She's not going to be broke. And I think Kyle needs a break. Like, we've seen it happen, right? We saw it happen with Bethany. We saw it happen with Nene. We've seen it happen with Phaedra. Like, sometimes they just need a break and then they can come back. Vicky. Like, I think Kyle needs to take a note from some of the true OGs who took a step back and took a second to evaluate and look at their life, and then they can come back on the show. Even if she was a friend of. Like, I just think Kyle needs a beat. Like, and I hate saying that, but it was in this scene and how she was talking to Kathy. And I was like, oh, you're going to go hard on Kathy has done nothing. She's talking about Zsa Zsa Gabor. She's like, they're like, yeah, Dorit's late. And she's like, Conrad Hilton couldn't be married to Zsa Zsa Gabor anymore. Kathy's chilling. Why are we yelling at Kathy? I didn't like it. I didn't like to see it. And then Kyle goes into her confessional and she says, I'm just worried about Dorit. And I think that's probably untrue. we get into the grape stomping. And we have Jennifer Tilly, Sutton, Rachel. They're like, we're not riding bikes. We're too glam for that. We're getting in a car. Bose, Amanda, Natalie, they go ride the bikes. And they're all going to meet up at a vineyard. And when they get to the vineyard, we really see the unfolding of Amanda with the new information that Sutton gives her and how they're dealing with that. The other group is Kyle, Erika, and Dorit. And before they leave, Kyle and Erika are complaining about Dorit being late. And, you know, this thing about Dorit being late, which is not new information. Dorit has been late on this show almost the whole time she's been on the show. She's been late the whole time. And I get it's her job. But if it was that big of a deal, production would say something. And production hasn't said anything. Production hasn't said anything because they don't care. If Dorit was so late to the point where her bosses were like, Dorit, we're going to put you on a performance plan. They're not doing that because they don't care. Because it's not that big of a deal. It's not costing production money. It's not slowing things down. They're still getting to their shoots on time. You think the producers aren't buffering time to balance in that Dorit's going to be late? Come on. It's fake. It's contrived.
None of it's true. It's BS.
As they're getting ready to leave, they all get in the car. They're going to go get gelato. And we cut back to the vineyard. And at the vineyard, you know, everyone's kind of talking about that they're grape stomping. Jennifer Tilly makes the cute I Love Lucy reference. I also like that in this moment, Gentil goes, oh my God, now I can write on my actor's resume that I can grape stomp. And that's such a niche reference. But if you've ever been someone who was like on camera talent, you know that like agents and, you know, all of these like acting websites, they want to know what your special skills are. And part of being an actor is people just like lie about their special skills. I forgot who it was. Was it Mia Goth? Mia Goth was like, I'll say I can do anything in an audition. And like, that's exactly right. So anytime there's a special skill that you can add to the resume, Jennifer Tilly's on it. She's like, book me in a grape stomping commercial. Now, honestly, someone needs to call up Jennifer Tilly's team, and they should get her in a grape stomping commercial. There aren't really wine commercials except for like maybe like Stella Rosa. So I don't know if Jennifer Tilly wants to promote Stella Rosa, but maybe she does. And maybe she should be in a wine summit commercial, or maybe it's for grapes, like grape juice, like Welch's or something. I think I want to see Jennifer Tilly in more commercials. Gentil should have a commercial job like Flo from Progressive. Do you know what I mean? Like someone needs to make Jennifer Tilly the face of their brand because she's just so adorable. I love her. We all love her. Rachel's not having the grape stomping. She's like, I don't want to take my heels off. This is too much. She does it anyways. They all do it. They're all grossed out. Amanda likes it. And now they're drinking wine at the vineyard. And now Amanda comes to Bose and, you know, they're talking about last night. Natalie's like, I don't understand why I was called a liar. And they're trying to help her understand what it means to be a liar on this show. Because apparently being a liar on this show has different rules than what it just means to tell a lie. By the way, I don't know if Natalie told a lie, but she was definitely backtracking on her version of the truth by not being clear. And if she would have been clear, not just said, oh, I didn't say it like that. She should have just been like, this is what I said, period. And then there's no way for someone to manipulate that information. But it is what it is. Natalie's confused and she doesn't even go to the reunion. Did you guys hear about that? Natalie won't even be at the reunion. So really, and I hate to say it, but why is she here? Because I thought we were all falling in love with Natalie. You know, I never was keeping score for Natalie because she never did enough for us to keep score for. So maybe I had instincts. Maybe I'm a little psychic and I knew Natalie was, you know, a one-hit wonder like that massage, but we'll never know. We'll never know about Natalie. They tell her what's happening. She got to come on the trip and poof, she went out the same door she came in. So Amanda starts doubling down about why her business is legitimate and whatever. Like selling money mindset is a thing that maybe people need, but I want to know Amanda's success stories and more of that. I think Bose is right. She's like, Amanda, like, why aren't you ever talking about what inspired you to start this business? And like the fact that Amanda's turning all of that into her book, I don't like it, but everyone's got to hustle. Everybody's got to hustle. Anyways, this vineyard scene is it gets to the end of it. Rachel's like, can we stop talking about this in the vineyard? Bitch, don't kill my vibe. And she's not wrong for that. We cut to the real drama of the episode, which they've been showing in every sort of trailer about what this season is about. It happened finally, right? The ladies getting ice cream, and Erika and Kyle go into this gelato date with the concept or the idea that they will tell Dorit that they don't like that she's been late. They think that she needs to get a hold on her life, and they're coming to her as real friends. Okay, sure. I think that they all know how to talk to each other when there's not cameras around, though. So, like, is it like real friends or is it like real TV friends? You know what I mean? Side eye. And I love Erika, but like side eye. And I feel like it's a really crazy split right now because I think some people just dislike Dorit so much that they can't even see that there is this very intended gang up. And I think that this also happens on Salt Lake City, where people hate Lisa Barlow so much that even when Lisa Barlow is right, she's still wrong because everyone's just decided she's already wrong. And I actually think objectively this is what's happening with Dorit because I never was like a Dorit stan. I like all of these ladies just fine. I think that what is happening with Dorit right now, though, is Kyle's just decided that Dorit is wrong, and there's a whole side of the audience that is just decided that Dorit is wrong. And so there's actually nothing Dorit could do to be unwrong when people have already made decisions about you. And so I think the way she's handling herself in this situation feels super emotionally honest. And Dorit seems like she is taking in information and not even being reactive. She's actually quite truly what I'm seeing is Dorit being emotionally intelligent. The ladies get into a really big fight in this scene because Kyle keeps roping in that everyone agrees with her, and Dorit in her confessional says, well, if everyone agrees with you, that means that you're talking bad about me to everyone, which is not fair. And it's not. And it ends up being to a place where Kyle and Erika are kind of doing like a 2-on-1 against Dorit, and she can't handle it. And so what ends up happening is she leaves them. She does. She gets in the car. She speaks Italian to the driver. She says, "I gotta go. I'm not sticking around for this. I gotta go." And the thing that's so funny is I feel like in this moment, Kyle looks at Erika, and remember last week I was like, oh my gosh, Kyle keeps acting. And it was a very clear indication of Kyle acting yet again. Dorit gets in the car and Kyle looks at her like eyes wide open. It's like very telenovela. Like Danny Pellegrino actually posted about it because why did Kyle do that? Why did Kyle do that? I'm glad Dorit left because sometimes when things are getting too crazy, you do have to walk away. And I felt like she was right to walk away. Also, it's like the girls being, oh my God, we're so stuck. It's like, are you? There's a camera crew. I'm sure there's a production van somewhere. Let's not pretend. Let's not. I know we don't want to break the fourth wall too much, but like, come on. Come on. Everyone gets back to the villa. And I honestly, I couldn't believe this scene. I could not believe. I know we're watching Housewives. I know it's reality TV. I know there's drama. I know there's things that get stirred up. I hated this scene. I hated it so much because what do you mean you're concerned about your friend and then at a table of everybody else in your friend group, you start a bashing session about your friend to the point where you're mocking how they speak? What? What? Kyle, it's not even like that's entertaining at that point. It's not even entertaining when people behave that way. It's just bad behavior. I don't like a whole group talking about someone behind their back for a lot of reasons. And the thing is I don't know if Kyle would have done that in the past. I feel like when Kyle's daughters were a little bit younger, she felt like morally obligated to show how to be a good girlfriend. But now that all of her daughters are like out of that phase where she really has to like parent them in that way, she's not acting that way. And I don't like to see it. I hated that. I hated that happened. It was really not cool. Then once again, we get a split up and not a Sprinter van like we need to be having. Dorit and Rachel are in one car. Kyle, Amanda, Jennifer, Tilly, and Bose are in another. And I'm just tired of them being in different cars because after that shit talking session, I wish they all would have had to be in the Sprinter van. You know what I mean? Like, I'm tired. I'm tired of seeing it. Next season, we got to get a party bus. Like, I don't know what we need to do to have cars that hold the whole cast, but we need to get on it. We need to get on that. I sound annoyed and I'm sorry, but you guys, I don't like seeing the ladies be mean to each other. I don't like it. It's not, I like a fun, witty banter. I like when they're reading and they're shade, but like so many people are like, oh, the season of Beverly Hills is boring. I don't even think it's boring. I just think that it's gone to a point where we need a cast shakeup of some form. And I actually think, I know I said earlier that Kyle needs to take a rest. I think Kyle should be a friend of, so it's not even gonna be a real rest. I think Kyle should be a friend of, and I think that they need to bring in like 2 or 3 new people on some of these Housewives franchises. Like they have a cast sometimes and it's like a billion people in the cast. It's like so many people in the cast, you don't even remember who's all in the cast. I think we need to do that in Beverly Hills. I think we need like a huge cast and then let everyone fight for a position. They get into a little trolley on the way to dinner. But before then, we did have our one and only like us point of the episode. And it's Rachel. Rachel gets the first like us point of the episode because she's the only one who told the truth. She said the truth. Rachel was real. And in this car ride with Dorit, she says, this is not friendship. She says, this is a fucked up friendship. And it's like, yeah, it is. It's broken. I think it's broken beyond repair. And I'm glad to hear at least one person be honest and say that. And Dorit knows it. And I think everyone knows it. But it's just, and I feel like Kyle's trying to get Dorit fired. Ugh, it's breaking my heart. This episode, because, you know, I watched them a couple times. So I watched this twice. And on first viewing, I was like, yikes. And on second viewing, I literally was feeling discomfort in my chest and anxiety from what I'm seeing on the screen. And I'm not a dramatic person. Like, okay, I'm a little dramatic. But, like, I'm not that dramatic, you know? I'm not someone who's like, oh, my God, I have anxiety. Like, I'm not that person. But watching this episode, I'm like, ladies, we're going to have to take a breath at the end of this episode. So they pile into the trolley to get to dinner, and the restaurant looks fantastic. And what I loved in this moment is Kathy Hilton, always keeping it classy. She said such a lovely speech. She toasts to Beau, she toasts to the trip. And I felt like there was a moment of just honestly pure class and elegance. It was the right time. But then the dinner falls apart. And as you guys can probably tell, I feel like I'm on Dorit's side. I love Kyle. I love her. Like, truly, she has been a star. I make content about that Kyle is a star of this show, really good at keeping storylines. But I feel like in this instance, Kyle is in the wrong because the only thing Dorit has done wrong is she's late. Dorit's only wrongdoing is that she's been late, but she has not really poked at anyone. Okay, actually, Dorit did two things wrong. She was late, and when Amanda said her son passed away, that like it was the anniversary of her son's death, she didn't drop it immediately. But after that, Dorit hasn't really done anything wrong. She keeps being attacked, and then she has to respond to these attacks against her character, against her behavior, against all these things. And if I was Dorit, I would be pissed. I would be so upset. I would be like, what is the deal here? And Kyle can't stop poking. And then Kyle yells at Dorit and says, Dorit, stop riding my ass. And I felt like that was a projection. I felt like we're projecting. And then on the screen, they say, to be continued. I think we need to take a deep breath after that one. Let it all out. Oh my God. The scores are at an all-time low, y'all. Like, at an all-time low. Because how is there any empathy or relatability when they're not even being empathetic to one another? How can I give points on relatability when they're being this catty and mean? And I know it's Housewives. They're always a little catty. They're always a little... But it's, to me, I think it's on another level. And I don't even know what to say about it, except for thank God for Rachel Zoe. Rachel Zoe, for speaking her truth, gets a point. And now she pulls out further ahead with 75 points. She's at the top of the scoreboard. We got Rachel Zoe in first with 75, 10 points ahead of Erika, who has 65. Kyle has 50. Bose and Dorit are tied with 45. And the friends of all have 40. And that is the end of the episode. Thank you so much for listening. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all of the really nice digital things. You know how to do it for this channel at Like Us Pod, at Erin Jones-Wesley on all socials. It means so much. I appreciate you guys listening and sharing, and I will keep you posted on what we're doing next week in Beverly Hills. Bye.